Well, good evening, everybody. I am here to react to some of the things that are on the news today. Not that there was anything shocking. Um, Joe Biden is same old Joe Biden. He doesn't necessarily have any. Uh, he doesn't have any regard for the rest of us, that we are actual live and thinking individuals that have a mind of our own and that would rather have Thomas the Engine as our president, because if that's all he's going to do is he's going to get the senior pass every time because he thinks he can. I am telling you, Thomas the Engine would have been just suitable for that. But Joe Biden is he's on a power trip, like Schumer and Nancy are. They're old, and they feel entitled. They feel entitled in a different way than like a larger society might, because of their position of life. Obviously they want the recognition for being in their capacity for so long. And I dare say that, hey, guess what? It's really not until you get to that finish line that really defines your contributions, and defines who you really are. So, as much as like an ordinary person that is conflict averse, such as myself, would like to, give them the recognition and just leave everything in peace. These are not people that want that. I think that their satisfaction is definitely unquenchable. Like they don't have a way of satisfying their needs for power and for control. And it's gotten very far. And when Trump came into office, he only, I think a lot of Republican conservatives might think, maybe made things worse. Like, a parent would tend to that, you're kind of contributing to the chaos. It's how they feel about Trumpet, and at the same time, I'm it's not like I'm torn, but I go, back and forth. Like, yes, I get it, but also I don't really have a lot of patience a lot of times. People are cognitively not necessarily at par all the time. And when you have to call him out, you got to call him out. I mean, it's like somebody has to do something, and he actually did do some. I mean, Biden wanted to know how that if I've seen terrorism before, except for maybe Fox News uh, reporter Ducey, everybody's like shaking in their boots and shitting in their pants when they're interviewing Biden. I mean, it's like you walk in there and like everybody's supposed to have some sort of I don't know, like fear of saying the wrong thing. Well, actually, the fear of saying the wrong thing is, and maybe NBC stepped up a little bit, like, do you care to expand? And then Joe Biden just looked at her like a little peasant, like, no, no, I don't care to expand. Okay. But at least, like that was like, um, like clue number one. Um, yeah, whatever. Really don't care to be like trash talking or anything like that. I never have, so I'm not going to now. But I did want to also speak to the The Cuthbert case, I think, the death of a young lady, 24-year-old graduate. Um, I I know that in my heart, n nothing, and nobody's ever gonna be able to. Death is a difficult thing. I understand the parents are grieving right now. They're confused. They don't understand what happened. Like, they're in shock. It's not gonna hit them, but I hope that when they do actually, when it sinks in, that they are, a force in our community that understands the mistakes being made, and in our sellout government that doesn't want to have accountability. They don't want to have enforcement, and they all they care about is really their power trip and how far they're going to get, because they have created a big gap between their position in life and how much power they can have and what they can control. I mean, they can, like, seriously fuck it all up and not give a rat's ass. Like, they're not going to care. But as long as they're the ones in power, because it could just be something that they actually, among themselves. You know what? Poor people fight amongst themselves just as much as rich people fight amongst themselves to have the power. I know that God has her in a better place, and um I don't doubt that. I don't, and that's not to diminish that it should have never happened. It should never happen. And the reason that it should have never happened is because this is not just like a trans, like, he's not just a trans, like a bum or a homeless person. There's a lot of homeless people that live out of their car because they're having a bad time, and they need, to recover from it, like myself at some periods in my life. Then there's also the truly mentally ill that would never even think about attacking. They would never, like, homeless people are basically, since I was in elementary, just ridiculed. You could be a person that's nice to them and not really care, but they're not, like, they don't have the will, and they don't have the type of strength to do something like that. This is a breed of Kamala Harris, with her bailing these people out to travel from state to state. Of course, they are always gonna, Kamala Harris and her type are always going to try and turn things around on other people, or apply and project that on people that are not doing that. But if they can force the circumstances and they want to force a certain outcome, that's what they're going to say. Well, this is a case that, if it was random and once the investigation is through, you can have this woman, if you even want to think of her that way, to thank for it, because she has always done whatever she thinks is going to get her to the next level, and she thinks that she's the enforcer, and she thinks that she's a person that's going to come in and enforce everything. But she's also the person that is creating it. It's creating the problems, and she's only doing it in the name of so-called race justice, which was already actually taken, um, dealt with the civil rights movement, and with a true righteous person, which she could never even compare herself to. I mean, that would be a shame if she did. And we all know who I'm referencing. Um, but this is a kind of breed that she's um, harboring. Like, it's her own ego. It has, like, all these little foot soldiers out there, and I'm out there. I don't live in fear. I've made it a purpose in my life never to live in fear. If somebody has to attack me, then it's gonna I'm gonna have to do something about it there, and then I don't plan for it. I definitely, it's part of keeping my faith. It's part of keeping my faith in God. It's part of of just living an honest life, and seeing things for what they are, and knowing that everybody is an individual. Everybody has their own walk of life, and if it was random, again, I mean, this is really what it boils down to. It boils down to the 2020 riots of people like Kamala Harris, and everybody that wanted to um, oppress, and anybody that wasn't black or brown. I mean, I say, don't speak for me, but you want to oppress everybody else because of how you project this everybody, the world, and this is a projection, and this is how everybody knows how sick people are inside, is because of what they do and what they say. It's projection. Um so I'm not happy about that. I know that I know that she's in a better place, and I hope that after the parents recover and are able to cope, that they're able to see that we do have to hold each other accountable. We do have to enforce our. We don't need a hard up um, uh, district attorney that's like a do nothing district attorney, the Democrat that she was when she was in California. Because trust me, I had a lot to deal with, and I did it just fine, suavely, graciously, and harm free. And I'm a free woman now, that doesn't have to rely on people like Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, and that doesn't have to be like dependent of anybody else telling me when and where I should be safe. We need to be we all have to put our own little grain in the sand, so to speak, on how we contribute. And if something happens to me because of how I feel, I know that the person that does something to me like that is gonna feel very guilty, and is probably gonna like regret it. Like I know that at least I have that much. And this life doesn't last anyway. I'm gonna die eventually. I don't pick a fight with people. I treat people with dignity, and I try to understand what they might be going through. And as much as it hurts me, even with my own kids. It's the same thing. Like, it makes me sad because I'm trying to I'm trying to like understand what you're going through, and you might be going through this or that, but it doesn't excuse them from harming people themselves or other people. So that's kind of, you have to, as a leader in the world, you have to be able to balance both. You have to be able to balance both being a person that's a an empathizer, like I empathize, and so you need help in this area, but I also am very apathetic to um, the fact that you might think that you're not responsible and that you had no play, just like Democrats like to do. The gun doesn't go off on its own, it's somebody else. You can't have apathy for somebody that has a choice and decides to make the wrong one. You can, at the same time, through a course of consequences, also provide the rehabilitation that they need. Except the greed with so-called leaders. I mean, I would, the word politician, I think needs to be restored. The word politician needs to mean, this is what a politician is supposed to do. They're supposed to be the neutral party, the party that comes in and says, this is what has to happen for the good of everybody. And that's not happening. Um, so I'm very sorry for anybody's loss, and especially, I just feel like Los Angeles was doing like pretty good, but like It's like I don't want to be like a conspiracy theorist about it or anything, but like if everything's going good, but now Los Angeles has to be like under the scrutiny of whomever it might um suit whoever it might behoove, I should say, then it could be something that's just like randomly programmed, and then you have like people that are power hungry, like Kamala Harris, that's like, bailing people out, putting them in different states to like create all the havoc she wants, like to keep everybody under threat all the time. I don't even know why black people or Indian people like her. And like, this is disgusting. She's a disgusting animal. She like basically just goes along with everything. She really just is the person that she wants other people to think, but I'm the Indian and black person that's a woman that was the DA, but I don't do anything positive in this world. I just have this like look to me or whatever, like, biologically speaking, let's talk about COVID, because you know what? I haven't died of COVID. I have asthma. I have a comorbidity. Um, I probably should have. I probably would have died if I taken the vaccine by now. But I have natural immunity. I am telling you, my friend. I've tested negative every single time. I know that I caught something back in around January of 2020 because I hadn't been sick like that in forever. And ever since then, my immune system hasn't been the same. That's okay. It's a slow recovery. It circles around, as there's people that don't necessarily take care of themselves as much as I do, because you know me, and I'm just always drinking all this alcohol and cleansing myself inside. Okay, so I don't like her. I don't want to pretend I do, and I don't want to give charity to people anymore. That I've done that long enough. So sue me. Um, I do want to speak on the behalf of the education that I received here. They were all white men, and I don't mind taking their test because I'm able to outsmart white men, white older men, if I apply myself hard enough. Yeah, it's annoying sometimes, but you know what? I'm pretty smart. I get what they're because for me the important thing really is is being the moral authority. And I don't really like how these types of Democrats under the leadership of Kamala Harris want to be like the moral authority of the rest of America. That's a joke. You're a joke. You promote abortions. I mean, you want to allow people to have abortions up to you're a sick group. You're like just anything you do is basically self-centered and it's self-serving. You can't be the moral authority. You think you are, and that's why Christians are going to be attacked. It says so in the Bible. I know that I'm aware of it. You with your bigotry and egotistical vanity are going to try and come and tell me that I'm the one that needs to change. Well, guess what? I'm not. I'm not going to change, especially not for trash like you, Kamala and Joe Biden. Okay? Just get it through your heads already. Like, there's so many people, better quality people, that maybe they didn't suck dick through their life to get to the position where they are, but that still got up every morning to work just as hard, that don't need to answer or bow to you. You're trash. I'm not going to regret that. You need to own up to everything that you've done to people, with your lies, with your ambition, and with because you're a bully. You're a bully that tries to oppress people like me that you think you could always get away with things with. You and like crackheads that I've had to deal with, and I just really don't care very much for this administration. It's all a lie. It's bullshit. What did Joe Biden say today about voting? People came out in droves to vote for Joe Biden in 20. I mean, how pathetic. What a lying sack of filth. You're filthy, man. You're fucking filthy. Nobody came out in droves to vote for you. Nobody. You printed fake ballots, and that's how it counted. I need a voting system where I can log in to an account of all my votes. Okay, I will grant you this. I can't go in there to change my vote on a daily basis, although I'm pretty sure a lot of Americans would, if they had a chance to vote every day for a president. You'd be out a long time ago, but here we are, stuck with this fucking piece of shit for another 3 years. Motherfucker. Either way, um, yeah, we need to know that where our votes went, and we need to be able to account for every single head, okay? Pro capita, to speak in your fucking Capitol Hill terms, dumb fucking asses. Um, we need to know and account for every single head and how they vote, okay? Alrighty. Well then, I think that was all I had to say. No, this is wrong, and I can't wait to see the day that these. I'm not the type of person that wishes anything bad on anybody, but you cannot. This just does not apply to the leaders of the free world, to the leaders over, providing attempt so-called providing for your safety, and all you're doing, all these thugs are doing in administration 46 is twisting the arms of good Republican people in power to have a vote, to side with them and take the sweetheart deal, and blessed are those Republicans, and even some Democrats that will not let their arms be twisted, because you're not only doing me a favor or anybody that lives under you, but you're doing yourself a big favor too. You can't continue this way. You have to be the party. You have to be the American people that was designed to be, and you can't let some ignorant little hoes like AOC and Ilan Omar and Jimmy Gomez try to like be the like idiotic newbies that satisfy the like count, like vote count for our destruction. Let's call the like the real adults here to make a true difference, okay? And I'm telling you, if we want to have a debate on things, give me the facts. If I'm wrong, I've said this before, I'll concede. I'll fucking walk away with a fucking bag over my head in shame and never show my fucking face again. But I kind of doubt that that's going to be the case, because I think things over like through and through, and way too, go in circles about it way too much, because I want to be a good and nice person to people, but fuck you. Anyhow, well, that's really all I have for now. I don't buy it. I mean, Joe Biden sound like, I mean, speaking of rhetorical questions, ask your rhetorical question. Hey, that's all we're getting from you is rhetoric. So why not get a rhetorical question? And what was holding him back on that one? I mean, I want to know. I want to know what his rhetorical question was. Fucking dumbass. Fucking ask your question, you fucking piece of shit. Fucking weirdo.